You can still.
So, Mr. Zafar,
Yeah.
what is the point of using? You said using a tar file is the point for it just to keep so you don't have data loss.
Yeah, data integrity. It's possible that over each and every single file is moving over the network. It's possible that a file could get corrupt and there could be a data loss. So
So when you use it,
if you send
yeah.
it as a single file, you would know if the single file is corrupted. It's right there. If when it's transferring over the network, if the file if the single file gets corrupted, you would know that file is get corrupted. But if you have a folder, you have many files in there,
Yeah.
and if it's get corrupted, it could be frustrating that you have to figure out which file is corrupted. So if it travels as single file and reaches the destination safely without any data loss, that means there's a good success that the file has transferred there.
Okay. So when we were making the touch file 1 to 1,000, we made 1,000 files. When
Uh
we
huh.
ran the command tar-cvf transfer transfer forward slash, was that putting all the 1,000 files in that folder or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
Okay, and then STP transfer was transferring over to
Yep.
the other item.
So
Okay.
let's take a look here on Tarit on the other side.
Mr. Zafar, you said what email did you send it from?
Linux.zmprotech.com. So we transferred using the data as well as the tar file here, right? So now we have to untar it. Okay, so let's do untar. Look at the command.
So you're saying tarring it is like zipping it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you do gzip. Gzip and then the name of the file. Okay, so I'm gonna rename this file something else so that it's exactly the same file, right? So mv transfer to transfer dot. Okay, it's the same file. I just rename it because the tar file is it's the same name. So I'm gonna do gzip transfer dot tar. Okay, what I'll do is it will.
You put a 1 in.
Yeah, okay. Gzip transfer.
You forgot the S.
Yeah, okay. Now that file is unzipped here. Okay. Uh-oh. What did I do? Gzip tar. So here, see this file here, folder 1, and folder 1 is displaying as a uh, file here. Folder here is displaying as a folder, D as a directory. Oh, okay, I'm supposed to use gunzip. So let me use gunzip.
So wait, why did it add .gz to the end of the file?
It's if you're zipping it.
Oh, if you're zipping it.
Yeah. How do I untar this? I thought I put it in here. Close the door. Okay, unzips the compressed file in, let's see here, tar CVF folder 1. This makes copying and moving folder easy. Okay, you can use gzip and gunzip to compress and uncompress. Oh, okay. And I want to untar a file. So, untar a file. So, okay, yeah, you tar a file, that if you want to make it compressed, then you use gzip. Uncompress it, gunzip. Okay, and if you want to untar a file, you do tar-xvgz data.gz, or no, this is not correct.
Ms. Zafar, I thought you taught us that like in the beginning.
Yeah, I did that, but the instructions are missing here. I don't see. I showed
For the
you.
basic commands?
Yeah, in basic commands. I have tar and
Gzip right there, above it. And unzip.
no. I have to untar it. Once I make a tar, it becomes one file, right? This is gzip, and gunzip is for compressing. Zip and compresses the file, and it adds the extension .gzip. Okay. Oh, if you want to lower the size of the file, that's what you use, gzip and gunzip. I thought I had a untar over here. So let's see here. Tar tool. XVF. So let's try XVF. And then the file name. Okay, now you should see a folder name transfer here. And it does untars it for you. So if you're moving like thousands of files, it's a really good habit to put it as a untar.
Okay. Could you put this in the Word document?
Yeah, I am. So let me see. We finished DNS, right? And we finished DNS, Ansible, SCP. did I talk about NFS? Let's talk about NFS. NFS is NFS, network file system. Okay, all right, this is a really interesting topic, you'll love this. And NFS is I'll tell you what NFS is used for. Okay, so let me do this here and
Mr. Zafar, they use NFS and AWS as well, I think.
I'm still, you're still learning, buddy. There are a lot of things there. There are a lot of things. Okay, so NFS stands for network file system here, okay? And network file system, or NFS, is a distributed file system protocol originally developed by Sun Microsystem. Okay, so I don't like the definition here. Okay, so I have my definition here. Okay, so what is this? NFS, network file system. It is a client slash server application that lets a computer user view and store and update files on a remote system. As though they were local. They were on the user's own computer, okay? The NFS protocol is one of the several distributed file system standards for NAS. Anybody has NAS in their home? Okay, so in my computer here, if you take a look, here I have this network file here, right? This drive is not local here. This drive is on another computer. I have it here. So I have mapped a network drive here. So if I lose a network, this drive won't this computer won't have access to the drive here. Similarly, I have one more computer here. I have many drives plugged in here. So all these drives here, the one which is showing up in here on network location, these are all the drives, okay? So you could have many drives plugged in. So what it's doing is you could set up a dedicated server that will save nothing but data. And then you could have it plugged into your computer or the server, and the data will be saved. What is the benefit? If the server goes down, nothing, you don't lose anything.
It's
right?
Like cloud, right?
Huh?
It's like cloud?
Yeah, it's local. No, don't refer it to as a cloud. You could definitely set up on a Windows machine also. So if you do a network share, it's usually called a network share.
Yeah. So when I go to work, like people say that they lose their Z drive.
Yeah. Z drive, exactly. That Z drive is nothing but most of the time it's running Linux on it. Okay, I'll show you how to set up a Samba too. So most of the time it's set up on the Z drive. Not the Z drive. The drive letter is unlimited. However many drive letters you want, you could have. Usually I have. Z. It usually come up as default here. So if you go in here and map a network drive,
yeah,
and whatever drive letter is not available, it will pick up the next one. So you could have A to Z literally.
Yeah. And then what is it like? You have to have a path, right?
You have to have a path.
That's a soft link, or is it?
It's a hard link. It's a full. It's a absolute path.
Okay. Yeah.
So, for example, if you have this local hard drive here, if you want to enable this to show up on, see, I have this enabled here to show up on other computers here, right? So how did I do that? I right click here, go into properties, go into sharing, advanced, and then usually it's unchecked. Put a check on it and then put a share name on it, okay? And then
what name that the ZM, is that the network or the name
now
of the
you
server?
could come up with whatever name you want. Share name.
So that's not the server.
Now you could give the name here. You could give it whatever name you want to give it so that you remember what it is.
Okay.
And go into permissions and put a check on everyone and give read-write access to all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do that, what you have to do is you have to figure out the computer name or the IP address. So here is the computer name. You either do the computer name or the IP address. Okay, and then what you do is you go to another computer and you open this and put in // and what was the computer name I had here? you have to enable the networking on your system too. DZMPTLA DZMPTLA 0001. So if I type DZMPTLA 0001, there you go. See, ZM PROTech is showing up here. Then what you could do is you could save this as a map drive. Okay, you guys figure it out on your own because this is a Windows part. Just put in Google, everything will show up there. Okay.
Can you do Mac and Windows, like a Mac computer and a Windows computer?
If it's gonna show up in a network, then it will.
Okay.
Mac computer is always a problem, man. I mean, it's complex. All right, go ahead and do this in your home. You will feel good about it. Generally, what I do is I take old computer, fill that computer with hard drives, install Windows on it, Windows 10 or whatever, and then enable the networking on it. First time you click on network here, it will give you a pop-up message here. Do you want to enable it on and be discovered on the discovered on the network? Yeah, you could safely say yes. But let's get back to our thing here. So that's okay. So let's work this up here. So what I'm gonna do is, since we are done with the Ansible here, I'm gonna shut all of them down. Okay, so all of them should go down now. I would say definitely everybody, you all were able to set up Ansible, right? Okay, good. So I would say once you have a good hang of commands, definitely play around as much as you want with Ansible. Don't want to go down. I'm going to bring this server down to init 0. So what I'm gonna do is let me grab one server. Okay, so let's see what this one has. Okay, so it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drives in there, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say let me clone this, right click, clone, and I'm gonna say this as NFS server, okay? Omara, can you warm this up? Good 2 minutes.
When did your class end?
3.
3?
Mm-hmm.
Did you make the timings?
I put it over there on the box.
Yeah, when's your class end?
3 o'clock today.
When does it start?
12:30. 12. Okay, so I'll start the server here. And so I'll put it in here. Clone a host and name it NFS. Okay, right, that should be good enough, right? And now what I'm gonna do is launch that. Okay. One 192.168.56.250. Why is not working? We have bound here, so is it messing it up? Okay, how did we have here? Practice. So adapter 1, adapter 2, adapter 3 is NAS, and what I'll do is I'll change the MAC address here. That way it will probably give the IP correct, because it's keeping the IP from the clone also. VirtualBox, host only Ethernet adapter. Okay, so looks good.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Get what?
Amita.
You want to come with?
No.
Get it from where?
Give Amita.
Yeah.
After class.
I just dropped off a bunch of stuff. There's not too long ago. And it's supposed to be snowing. It's not snowing, which is good.
Yeah.
Close it, bro. I love you. Uh, let's see here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I kind of don't like this here. I'm gonna shut it off, and I'm gonna delete this.
Mrs. Zafar, ours was working. Should we clean it too? It's fine.
If it's working, no. If it's working, no.
Alright, cool.
Or you know what? Actually, yeah, delete it. Let's make a copy from the Ansible master. Let's make a copy from Ansible master, because we have 4 drive also, and then we won't have a headache of having the bound in there. So yeah, I like this.
Okay. Are we changing the settings?
We are not changing anything in settings.
Oh,
I just went through it, so I'm not changing anything. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clone it and then name it instead of Ansible. I'm gonna name it NFS server. Okay, so let me bring it up. So I'm gonna log in, root. Okay, so I'm gonna connect to this server here. So let's see here. I bring up 192.168.56.116. So I'm gonna change the host name, right? VIETC host name. I'm gonna change it that would reflect this. Okay, so I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say NFS01 at zmpt.com. Okay, and let me put this in here.
Mr.
Okay.
Zafar, you put NFS server?
Yeah, in the NFS server, I just give it a name NFS01 at zmpt.com. Okay, so that you don't get confused in it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reboot, and then we need to install some software here. So install package. So the hostname has been changed here. Okay, so now let's install a package. The package we need is NFS utils. Okay, yum install NFS hyphen utils. Okay, hyphen y. That means it will automatically install it for you. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna clear this. Actually, let me copy this. Okay. Now what I need to do is clear this. Okay, now I have to enable the service in the background. Okay, system ctl start NFS server. And I'm gonna reboot this. When the system reboots, it will automatically start the service. ENABLE. Okay, so let me copy this and put it in here.
Now, Mr. Zafar, how do you know to do that?
The service?
Yeah, enable the NFS server and.
So most of the time, if you are installing, if you're providing any service, if your server is a service server, then if you're installing it, you have to NFS. Okay, hold on. So this was developed by Sun Microsystem, right? If somebody have developed something, a technology, they would know inside out and release white pages. So you have to follow the white pages. And in fact, you would find this. You would find the best practice NFS server rel, and it will give you all the information here. So it's telling you to do several things here. The steps are may or may not be true here. So what happens is that's when the human factor comes in, and depending on what service you need, you would have a service enabled or not enabled, because any topic is a deep topic. Okay, and then whatever that server you have set up, it could be used for anything. Okay, so when they come up with a technology and they come up with white papers, NFS was not developed by it was not developed by Red Hat. Okay, but they released it as part of a NFS, as part of a commitment for free. GNU. You heard about GNU, right? I think I told you about there is an organization, GNU, and they strive to keep the software free.
Mm-hmm.
And most of it is on Linux based.
It's like a university, right?
No, I mean it's like a loosely connected organization that promotes free software.
So is the NFS server coming from the utils we just downloaded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Mr. Zafar, that GNU isn't that like isn't that the same as the repositories or
No. This is just like GNU is GNU operating system is what they do is they try to. Okay, here's the code. You could download the binary code for the Linux here, okay? And you mess around with it, come up with some unique ideas in it, and you could name it after your name. You could name it Austin Linux and release it, okay? As long as you're using Linux source code, you're getting it for free. Everything you do on it will be free. You cannot charge for it, but so Red Hat is also free. Every Linux operating system is free. But what they did is, okay, they want to make money off of it. Okay, we'll give you the Red Hat free. But when it comes to service is not free. If you get stuck somewhere, if you need help, then you have to pay for the service. Okay, that's how they get around to it. So since the Linux kernel is free, so what is happening is anybody is downloading it. Individual, organization, big corporations, they are constantly working on it and trying to make it better and come up with good ideas. And when they do that, either they could keep it for free, or they could keep it for themselves and not make it public, and nobody would ever know about it. And you have only other option is to make it public, and it has to be free. Once you make it free, it's gonna be free. That's it.
Okay. So you said you can't ever, even if you create something, you can't charge it?
No, you can't charge it. Like Windows operating system, you download it, you have to pay for it. You have activation key, you have to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for this one you cannot.
Okay.
So I go ahead and download the Oracle Linux. OEL. You won't feel any difference in here. Oracle Enterprise Linux, okay? You could definitely download this, and the commands and all this will be same exact what you have learned so far. You could in fact put it on your resume. You worked on Oracle Linux. Yeah, go ahead.
and Oracle is the operating system? No,
Yeah.
Linux is the operating system. Oh.
Oracle Linux. Look, Linux is in there. Red Hat is RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. CentOS is a community operating system, which is offshoot of Red Hat. So, any Linux, if you find Linux somebody is charging for you, you should report it.
Because they give out licenses, right? It's not necessarily you have to pay for it.
I mean, they'll give you some kind of code. It's free though.
Yeah, but it's yeah.
Yeah,
So what does this Oracle have to do with the database or like database?
the Oracle is a big company. They started off with NSA, with CIA, and they have become a big database corporation, dominating. Oracle database is the most dominating and most robust database in the world here. So Oracle database is the product of the company named Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, Jerry Lewis, no, Ellis, I don't even know his first name. He's one of those, all those people started in 70s when Microsoft is getting, Microsoft, Apple, when all those three things are getting off, and he started at around the same time. So he has this Oracle database Oracle database is crown jewel. This is a money making machine for Oracle Corporation. It's very robust. All big corporations have it.
And the database just stores the data, right?
database. Don't ask me more questions about database. I don't know, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
database team is dependent on me. They come crying all the time to me. They need to do this, do that. I have to help them.
Because you can, because yeah, I mean, in AWS, they're teaching us how to take the information that's on the database and transfer it over using NFS to the cloud.
Yeah. So when something is there, actually a couple teams are involved. I mean, I don't have no knowledge of how database works. It's still a complex environment. Then the database people, they don't know how the Linux works. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, Suleiman, he was a database admin, so he should have put him some 2 cents here, but he's not here.
Uh,
Yeah, he worked on a database, Oracle database actually.
dang.
So when you say Oracle, that doesn't mean they're just a database, but they have a lot of other products here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they have their own Linux also.
And that Linux uses the same basic commands and everything like Red Hat, right?
Yeah,
And the software, right?
yeah.
For the products underneath the software.
Usually, most of the time. So what you do is you type RPM based Linux, okay? And so RPM based Linux, RPM based Linux list. Okay, so Red Hat is coming up, and this guy Rock Cluster, I never heard of it. Fedora. Even Russians are dependent on American code. So all these are Linux here. Go ahead and install SUSE too. SUSE is developed by German company, and if you heard about SAP, SUSE is that's what they're running on because SAP is a German product. And go ahead and install all these operating systems here to get a kick out of it. And most of the time, a lot of things should be similar. The only thing I'm thinking is they may have an extra command in there that you could read man pages, and so there is like a Russian. Alright,
I'm
I
not seeing that.
highly recommend not install the Russian stuff on your stuff. It's
I'm not
gonna,
seeing the Oracle on these pages.
where?
I'm not seeing it. Oh,
I
no,
mean,
right
that
there.
doesn't mean it's Oracle is. I would definitely guarantee you, it's almost same thing like Red Hat Linux.
I think it's there right there. Oracle Linux, I guess there. Under Oracle.
Yeah. It's on the Oracle website. It's under software.
Yeah, right here, Oracle, OpenSUSE. In fact, I'm telling you, download the Linux code and release your own operating system and see what happens. Yeah, okay, look at this picture here. All this is everybody's trying to get in fact your Android and iPhone, all those are running Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you root it, when you hack into your phone, you're gonna see nothing but same exact Linux directories.
So when you jailbreak your phone, that's Linux.
Yeah.
I used to see this little penguin thing all the time with like the little brown box back in the day when everyone was
Oh, yeah.
jailbreaking phones.
Which phones?
This little penguin right here.
Yeah, if it's Penguin, it's Linux. But which boxes? I've been using only iPhone for a while. I never use Android, so
It was like came in the package. I guess that was the RPM package, but it was Like whenever you would jailbreak the phone, it would be that little penguin and then like a little brown box that you can jailbreak. Like I
Oh,
guess
okay.
the yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, so yeah. I mean, it's for people who are not in the Linux environment. They take all these things for granted here. Even what the beauty of Linux is, you could install it on a smallest device and then start making work for you. Okay. The original Linux we installed here, it was like only bare bone, it was only like 3-4 kilobytes or something. If you do ls df-h, and if you look at our root here, it's only been used 1.5 gigabytes. Because we have installed so many other things here, you could even strip it down and you could use it, have it like in megabits, and then start using on it. It's a complex world here. Good thing you're on a Linux site early in your age, so you will learn a lot of stuff here. And if you are into hacking and all that, there are some hacking courses you could take up, and it's using the Kali Linux, I think. Yeah, this Linux is this is designed for hackers. If you want to like become a white hat or something. So Kali Linux, it's widely available. Everybody, I mean, you shouldn't be hesitant to download this. You could download it and then start if you need into hacking. There are courses here. Just finish this course and keep up with this. The only thing I would say is keep up with the commands. Get a good hang of commands. Commands. Once you have a good hang of commands, everything else is easy for you. Okay, you just need to understand how the commands are working. All right, so let's continue on. So what we'll do is we'll make a shared drive that will be shared over the internet, okay, over the network. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is we already have so many drives in here, right? So what we're gonna do is I'll just copy this. So we're gonna use any one of these drives to be shared over the network. We have only accounting, finance, and I think we messed around with the finance, right? Or the recruiting on this server. I'm not worried about it. So what I'll do is I'll put in a note here that so what I'll do is let me just make a new LSBLK, right? So what I'll do is how much drive space I have here. SDB. Okay, let's focus on SDB. It is sitting there and getting wasted. So let's do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a partition here, LVM. So what I'm gonna do is PV create dev SDB VG create. I'm gonna give the name share. Instead of ZMPT1, I'm gonna give it a name shared one. Share 01. Okay, and I'm gonna say dev SDB. Now I'm gonna create LV create, and then I'm gonna give this is not new here, -n new, and then I'm gonna give the name share name. Okay, what is the share name? I'm gonna give the name NFS underscore share. This is where you would have given the name accounting, right? Don't get confused here. I'm gonna say huh?
Say that again, please.
No, this is a old LV create command here. This is nothing new here.
Right. Okay.
And then I'm gonna give it 15G, and then I'm gonna cut it out of share one. Okay, if you do LSBLK, you see share one in there.
So wait, what did you do with the after you did NFS underscore share dash L 15G share dash 01?
The 15 gigs is the size I gave.
But you said you taking out of share.
Oh yeah, out of 16 GB, it's available. I am giving 15. Did you get it?
Yes. What does the dash capital L stand for?
The logical.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go ahead and mount it. Install package, and here create a share. And here now go ahead and mount it. Mount to the directory. Okay, so now I'm going to create a directory called mkdir/shared. Okay, now I'm going to mount it. Mount dev. Usually it's dev mapper and all that, right? And what is the name here? Is share 01, There you go. Share 0101 NFS. And then I'm going to mount it to shared. If you do, okay. See, this is why you gotta be. So what is it missing here? I'm gonna do mkfs dot xfs, and I'm gonna say dev. I'm gonna say this part here. There you go. Clear it.
We have to do that command before we
We did so far. We're not doing nothing new.
you made a file system though, right?
We made a file system and then we mounted it here. So it's mounted now.
So wait, which one did it? Which one fixed it? When you did mkfs.xfs/dev mapper?
Yeah.
Mr. Zafar, when did you make the share one NFS share underscore share?
Oh, when I was issuing the PV commands.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
yeah, I did that.
And then you do VG create, share. VG create is the volume group name.
Yeah.
And then here LV create, I'm giving it the name NFS share.
Okay, and then we made the shared folder.
So NFS share is sitting on share 01.
Could you scroll up a bit, please? After mkdir slash. Okay.
So here after mkdir, before mkdir, make sure the file system is in place.
Is created. Okay.
So first do mkfs.xfs/devmapper/share the name of the.
Yep, run this command first. Then create a folder.
And then map it. I mean,
Yeah,
mount it.
right here. So I'm gonna split this up here.
Oh, mine said I didn't make it in the FS tab.
Yeah, it's not there yet. Yeah, I'm not there yet. So we're gonna do it in FS tab.
I thought you mounted it already.
That doesn't mean we are in FS tab.
How can you mount it if it's not in the FS tab though? I thought.
No. What do you mean? You could mount it 1,000 of those and not be in an FS tab. When the system reboots,
Then it'll read the FS tab.
if it's not in FS tab, then it won't map it for you.
Mine is saying mount can't find dev mapper share one and NFS share and
Do LSBLK. You may have do LSBLK and copy this.
okay. It's there, but the shared file isn't there.
This folder?
Yeah, the share
You have
folder
to
is
create,
there.
you have to create that.
Create one.
Oh, I didn't put shared folder after.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how is it gonna know where it's gonna mount?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
So this is Zafar. So after you reboot the system, if you don't give it the FS tab, what happens? Will it?
You'll lose all the work that you put into the
No,
folder.
no. You won't lose here. So
It'll still stay mounted.
it will stay unmounted. You have to mount it.
No, if you mounted it, but you didn't put in the FS tab, what would happen when you restart it? Will it all still stay there? Or?
The data will be there. It will not stay there. So I explained this in here, emergency mode. So the reason it was going into emergency mode is it was the information was in etc fs tab, and if the drive is missing, then what is actually happening in when you put it in etc fs tab, when the system is booting, it verifies all the drives are available and it could mount. Okay, if it's not able to mount, then what will happen is it will go into emergency mode. Okay, but if it's mounted and there was no FS tab entry, there is no FS tab entry, so the system doesn't care. So the system won't check for it to mount or not mount. It's only going to make sure and mount it whatever you have saved in FS tab.
Okay.
Okay, so if the entry is in FS tab but it's missing in reality, then it will stop. It will go into emergency mode. If it's not in FS tab but it was mounted before you rebooted, it doesn't care. The system will come up normal.
Okay, so in order to avoid the emergency mode, you have to put it in the FS tab and then mount it before you reboot.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
But here's the thing here. In reality, you don't reboot the system as often.
Right.
I've seen the system sitting around and running without problem for 1,000 days, 2,000 days. I even saw one time close to 4,000 or 5,000 days. So if you say like 5,000 days, but it's a good habit to make sure you make a FS tab entries, okay?
Yeah.
So-
Go ahead, Brian.
no, you go ahead. It's okay.
I was gonna ask, so basically you can mount it because companies don't usually reboot the server, right? So
Yeah.
if you mount it and you don't put it in FS tab, it doesn't matter because it's the likelihood of it rebooting it's not high, right?
Yeah. But the general rule of thumb is you should still put it in there.
Still put it in there, yeah.
Don't want to take a chance. Alright.
That
So
makes
my
sense.
question is, yeah, if you unmount it, and when it reboots, it'll remount it for you. But what happens if you remove the partition, but you keep the whole list in the FS tab? What happens then?
It will crash.
Oh, okay. So you need to manually go back, put it back, and make it a partition. And then
Yeah,
it'll
that's
remount
why
it.
you go back into. So here, the system went crashed here, so it's asking for the password. So right now the system is in emergency mode. Okay, so when you look at it, it will say you. It will give you some kind of indication here. So missing hard drives. The system boot to emergency mode, but why? Either the drives are missing, the file system is corrupted, or the file is unmountable. So that means the file system cannot be mounted. So you have to go in there and investigate.
Okay. And the
So-
two reasons it could be unmountable is because the file doesn't exist anymore, or if you remove the partitions from the drive.
Yes,
Both.
both.
Okay.
And now that we are learning NFS, it could be a network issue. It's still coming.
Okay.
So you enter the password. Most of the time you go into etcfs tab and comment out the lines. Here's the good practice, guys. Don't always delete anything in there, any file. Comment that line out, make a copy, comment that line, and then edit it on the bottom line. So in fact, you could even put a date in here.
So what would be the fix if you deleted one of the logical volumes, but you didn't remove it from the FS tab? Would it just be to go back into the FS tab when it's in emergency mode and then just take
it out? Yep.
Okay.
And then work on it. If it's not needed, then make it permanent. Make it just hashed. Put a pound sign before the line.
Okay.
Don't ever delete it.
Question you asked?
I asked, so like, if you remove the LVM, like the partition from the drive, and you didn't want it anymore, but you rebooted the system, but then you forgot to take it out of the FS tab, and then it goes into emergency mode, what would be the fix? It would just be the fix to go back, edit the FS tab, and remove that line out of it.
Even though it's in emergency mode?
Yeah, because once it'll ask you to put the root password in, and then edit the FS tab. Is that correct, Mrs. Zafar?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the bare minimum you would need is these 3 lines here. Bare minimum you would need for the system to come up is these 3 lines. If those lines are missing, then you're dead in water. So the bare minimum you need is these 3 lines.
Didn't you show that before? If you remove those, but then you just restart the system, they automatically come back?
The swap you could go with, but these 2 you have to have it because it's a boot partition and root system.
No, I remember, but before I think we messed with it, and you had it deleted from the FS tab,
Yeah.
and then it crashed.
It will, yes.
Yeah, and then you rebooted the system, and then it all came back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the more you play around, the better it gets.
Okay.
All right, let's take a 10-minute break, and then I'll be back in 10 minutes.
All right.
And one more question before
48.
you go. When did you start this class? Because remember, I was in the other class, and I try to find it on the videos.
This was in October.
October?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to see when the first class was here, so just go in the main document and you see the links there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Here, so let's see here. So far we didn't do anything new. Okay, so now what we have to do is there is a configuration file. We need to make some changes in there. So okay, I'm not worried about putting this in FS tab. Yeah, you know what? Might as well put it in there. So you do df-h. Copy this information, and I'm gonna do vi etc fs tab. So it needs this information here. And here I am going to say XFS and defaults 0 space 0. Okay, when the system reboots, it will have it here. And one other thing I'll show you is normally what you do is you also could put date in here. 01. So you put 01 dash, what is today's date? 24 dash 2021. Okay, so one of your colleagues come in and take a look. Okay, they know some changes were done in this on this day here. Okay, as long as you put a pound in front of the line, you could literally put in the Bible there, and nothing will happen because it will skip it. Okay, that's where the pound comes in.
Mr. Zafar, could you go back to the ATTFS tab really quick, please?
Yeah.
Mrs. Zafar, for your FS type, your ZMPT, what is that? That's the LVM
Where?
or the VG? That one right there.
VG group.
The VG group.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. You could definitely have many volume groups in there. So this is the example here. This is one volume group. This is one volume group. Now you're gonna make some changes in here into the configuration file, which is VI/etc default, and then there should be a file name NFS. It's not there. Okay, so the file doesn't exist. So let's create a file. VINFS-share. That's the file name. Okay, in there, put this line in. Need, all uppercase. Need underscore ID MAPD equal yes.
This
Okay.
is ETC default.
Yeah. Now,
Where?
etc default NFS share. Going to CD etc default, if you're not in there, then create one. The file name should be, I'll show you.
Okay.
File name should be NFS-share.
Okay. CD default.
So once we do VINFS dash share, it'll create that file for us.
It will, yeah. That's the VI editor.
And then what was the text inside of it?
Inside would be like this.
Need. Underscore. Now, what does that mean, Mr. Zafar?
it's a configuration line it needed for the NFS server to read through it. That means it's mapping the ID map D equals yes. That means this is defined by the NFS, and this line need to be in there for it to be able to read.
Can you put that in the notes when?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's gonna read one. So when it reboots, is it gonna read? It's gonna read both these files.
Yeah, it's gonna read this configuration file. Yeah. Create file if not present. Okay, now there's a configuration file here, right? So now,
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So when you reboot the system, it's gonna read this NFS share as a configuration file, and inside it's gonna read need underscore ID MAPD equals yes.
Yeah.
That does what?
Yeah, so now what else we need is a config file here. So if the config file is not there, create one. vi id map d.conf.
ID map. .com. So wait, Mr. Bar, what does that command do?
Which command? This one?
The need underscore ID map equals yes.
I'll show you. That is gonna read this file here, the config file.
Okay.
So what you need to do is in here, all you have to do is the host name, nfs 01.zmpt.com.
You put NSF.
NFS. Okay, good. Thank you. So I'm gonna go here. Maybe I'll see here. Okay, that should give you some confidence.
Okay, so now that us putting us in the host name, what is that? What is that? Like, what is it saying?
Yeah. So it's gonna, one file is gonna read the other file, and based on that is gonna execute the other NFS commands here. So let's gotta move away from here.
Okay.
Now what we need to do is we need to do ls-ld shared. Okay, so what we have here is we have so for user, for root it says read write execute, but this is only read and execute. It doesn't allow you to write here. So let's go ahead and change it to change the permission chmod. Let's give full permission /shared. Okay, now if you do ls-ld, it has full permissions.
So why do you want to give it full permissions?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and give full permissions. I'm not worried about it.
I'm saying, why did you want to give it full permissions?
Because the regular users and the groups, they want to have at least the right permissions here, right? By default, if you give the right permission, by default, the directory already has the read and execute permission. If you want someone to go inside the directory and read it, write it, then you have to give the right permissions there.
But why would anybody want to change that though?
By default, the right permissions are not there. Now we're gonna allow the users and another system to be able to save data in here. Okay, let's move. Let's get going here. Then I will explain you how it is working. Okay, because there are some other configuration files we need to do before we really could do the NFS share.
Right.
So now I'm gonna say change permission here. Okay, so we are good there. The next thing we need to do is there is a file name VIETC exports. It's already built-in file there. Okay, you go in there and that file is blank. In here, I'm gonna say enter the list of servers or clients to grant access. And this list could be a large, usually it is. And I'm gonna say shared and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fire up a couple systems here. Okay, so fire up a client 1 and client 2.
What file were you writing this into?
I'm sorry?
What file were you entering this into? The shared file or where?
I'm entering this into the exports file here. So let me save and exit. The file is VIETC exports. That file is already there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say root red hat. I'm gonna grab the IP address for this server. This is 117.
For client 1 and 2.
I'm sorry, what?
For clients 1 and 2.
Yeah. So once you go in there, I put in the IP address 192.168.56.117, and in the parentheses type read write async.
No space in between.
No space in between.
Comma or hyphen.
Where?
In between async and read write.
It's a comma.
Comma.
So if you wanna, if 1,000 servers are gonna connect to this server, you put 1,000 servers in here.
We have to manually do it.
Do you have to manually do it?
There's no way of writing a script.
Yeah, you could definitely write a script. How would you write a script? when you write a script, you would write something like an input file and run a loop. You would write something like this here, loop, and input parameters, and this is a built-in command to provide chance. So most of the time you will have a list of servers. All you have to do is put a list of servers in there and put /shared in there. Most of the time you should launch like Excel. And you put in /shared. And you do 192.168.56.120, right?
Mm-hmm.
You copy and you do like this, and make sure the IPs are in there.
Oh, and then could we do like redirect?
Yeah, either that or you do copy paste like this. There you go. Yeah, you have to be a little creative. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the shortcuts.
You just got a shortcut right here. What else you want?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna do like this here. I didn't learn this overnight here, guys. I mean, you have to understand.
Play around, yeah.
Play around. Or you could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to just figure it out how you're doing all this here, okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's keep it with 2 servers here, okay?
Okay.
So now I'm gonna minimize this. So I'm putting this VI etc exports here. That means you have to go to that file directly.
There wasn't no spaces between the IP and the RW async, right?
No, there is no space. Now let's type a command to see if it's working. Show mount -e. And actually it's not working. Export list for okay, it's working, but it's not mounted on the other server here, so it will come back to this again. So let's type another command here. Export fs-a. Export fs-r. Now let's see show mount E. There you go. So what show mount is doing is this is a shared drive which is shareable to other servers.
So export fs/a means like the same thing as mount
Yeah.
-a.
Not exactly, but it's kind of it's reading this one of these files here. So mount -a reads which file? etcfs tab, but this one is reading etc exports file. So it didn't bring up with any information here until we enabled it.
Okay. And what is -r?
It's reading it through. Let's see here. Man exports. These things I'm not working on it all the time. A means export and export all the directories. That's what we used, export. And R means re-export. So either most of the time you use R.
Because they're already configured.
Yeah.
Times, right?
So dash A is not needed.
Dash A is you could use it to just trigger it. You may or may not need it. I do it all the time though.
You just make sure with both of them.
Yeah.
Just so it triggers the export file.
So now this file, this shared folder, is being exported onto this servers here. Okay. All right. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the hole in the firewall. So let's see. Open NFS port in firewall. Linux firewall is an ironclad. Once if something is blocked in there, it's blocked. Okay. So
Say that again.
Linux firewall is very, very strong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Once it's blocked, can you unblock it?
Yes. So now what I'm gonna do is so the NFS, it's a known port here, right? NFS port number 2049. Okay. What is the port number for SSH?
Isn't it
22. So if you go in here, party and launch, it's 22.
Yeah, 22.
Port 80 is for HTTP.
Okay.
So if you're connecting to a website, you're using port 80.
Okay. And 443 is
HTTPS. Secure HTTPS. That's what 443 is.
okay.
So I'm going to open the hole in the firewall. So the command is firewall -cmd, okay, and then -permanent, then double hyphen add port, add -port. Okay, you have to see all these things you think are synced. The commands, no, the commands are not synced because all the firewall is developed by some group, individual, or the organization. So however they feel it should work, so that's what they developed, and you gotta have to stick with those commands, okay? TCP. And now you do firewall -cmd -list port, so there is nothing in there. So what you have to do is you have to reload it. Now you list port, so 2049 should show up there.
So when you did firewalls -cmd -permanent, that's just adding the port 2049?
2049 permanently, yep.
Or were you saying you said you were removing the firewall or something?
Removing it or making a hole into the firewall?
Making a hole into the firewall.
Yeah, that's slang we use as Unix guys. Can you open a hole in the firewall? Okay. It sounds better.
So you're just adding that port. Okay.
So this is allowing
The connection.
the server, the
Other servers will connect to this server using that port. And let's run one of the other commands here, rpc info -p, and let's grep for NFS. Okay, yeah, so all this is the output I was looking for. So rpc is let me see what rpc means. You type man rpc info. So what does rpc stands for? Report rpc information, rpc informatics, rpc call to rpc server and reports what it finds. So if you don't know what RPC is, you put in Google remote procedure call, okay? That's all it is. It's a complex in itself, so I'm not going to go in there. So remote procedure call means it's a remote. Since this is going to be a remote server, then this is what it's going to be. Okay, now we are done with the server configuration. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to configure this on any other server. NFS server is done configuration. So now what do you do is, like DNS, you have to go to any other server and make these changes. So enter these configuration on any other server, okay? So what we could do is we could actually use, if we are doing two servers here, right? So let's mess around with this and use the Ansible. So let me bring up my Ansible master. So if I do cat DNS names, so I have ZMPT01 and ZMPT02, which are the servers, right? 17 and okay, it's not going to work because the local DNS is not set up for this box. Uh-oh, it's connecting to the wrong server though. I think the IP might have changed for this DNS server here because I made a clone out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, now it's going to give me problem. 116. Uh-oh. What is this one? This is also 116. It's going to give problem. This is giving 116 and this is also giving 116, right? So what we do is we better off you can't change anything. If you refresh this MAC address, it would change. Let's do the just manual entry on one server here, okay? So no, I want to use Ansible, so let me just do this here.
So because we cloned it, it took the same IP address as well?
Yeah, because we are supposed to refresh. Now it's working, right? So
When system CTO restart?
yeah, oh, you know what? I should have done that. But let's see here. I'm going to go in to NFS server here. And if you do network, and then this is the first box, right? So if I do refresh here, then they should trigger the new IP address for it. So let's take a look.
Okay, so close the NFS server and restart it.
Restart it and then refresh. I'll give it a new MAC address.
Okay. You want us to check that before we
But if we did the system CTL restart, would that have done the same thing or not?
It might not work. Still taking 116.
Should we turn on the DNS primary and secondary service too or no?
Yeah, it's on. Sysconfig network scripts ifcfg enp03. Oh, okay.
batting?
So what we're gonna do is in here I'm gonna comment out the UUID. In here I'm gonna give something like 216, okay? Because I want to stay very far away from the possibly the conflict. Now you do system restart network. There you go, it's now 216.
So what file was that again? That you were in?
If config file.
Oh, you.
Okay, so my NFS server just reloaded. So can you tell me go through that again, please?
Go through what? This file?
Yeah, to make sure the IP changes.
Yeah, so I picked up, I took out the UUID. You really don't need it. And the IP address change something else.
Okay,
So leave everything else the same.
so keep everything the same besides which one? The actual IP ADDR.
IP ADDR.
Change that.
No, just change the last octet of the IP. In here, I kept everything else the same. Last three digits, just give it a random name.
Okay. Okay. Then what do we need to do after that's completed?
Just save and exit and do the systemctl restart network. Save and exit and then run systemctl restart network. Then do IPA. Then it should show you the
New IP.
yeah.
Alright, that worked.
Okay, let's move forward. So what I'm gonna do is instead of all,
Mr. Zafar.
what?
It sysconfig network underscore scripts / ifctcfg, right?
Yeah, I mean, you should know this by heart by now.
I know. I'm trying.
The reason, this is how you figure out what it is, okay? So, what you would do is, how would you know which particular file you're messing around with? So you type root. Oh god, I have to redo it again. So see this here, this is the network card. This is the network card.
Yeah.
This is the network card. So if you go into cd space etc sysconfig network scripts, and if you do ls, you see this is the associated file with each of the network interface card, NIC card. So ENP03, ENP08, and ENP09. You see ENP03, 08, and 09.
Yeah. I was putting underscore instead of hyphen.
No, that's what I'm saying. Use the tab keys. It will autofill it for you.
Right.
So, for example, if you're shooting in the dark, you do vi etc tab. You type sys, then you type partial, and then you type network, then you type tab again, then hyphen script. And if you don't know ifcfg, do tab. Okay, so this part, all of them has this part here. So now what you do is if you type enp, then you go, okay, copies, it autofills this part for you. And if still you don't know, you tab it couple times and it will give you the results.
Okay.
It will give you the filtered results. Then you could like use this 3 here.
Yeah, I was putting it wrong.
And watch. 3, you still not done. How you can do confirm that this is the correct one? Push it tab again, then it will give you a space. That means you have entered the correct valid name in there.
There's no more left, basically, right?
Yeah, it's also confirming you. So if I type like something like 5 doesn't exist, and if I do tab, it's not giving the space. I'm pushing tab like 100 times already.
Mm-hmm.
And if something does exist, so if you push 3 here and push tab, it will take it. And you hit enter, you go in there and make changes.
Okay.
That doesn't work for the that doesn't work for the Red Hat like command prompt.
What do you mean?
I'm trying to write. Oh, there it is. It works. Sorry about that.
So let's clear this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to install on the servers, on the remote servers, you need to install this here, okay? These things. So we're going to use Ansible. I'm going to say cat DNS. So I'm gonna make a new file here, okay? So I'm gonna give the name I'm gonna give a new name, something like NFS client. I'm gonna put it in there, save and exit. I go into history and then what do I need to run? I need to run one of these commands here. Okay, so instead of that, I'm going to change the file name. Okay, in there, I need to install yum installs yum install NFS utils here. On these servers, I need to do it too. On the clients also. Yum install NFS utils -y, same exact command. So let it run. Oh, okay, so now we have to run the SSH copy again. Why? Because a lot have changed in there. The host is not the same host anymore.
No, remember, I think it's because we messed around last time and we took the keys out.
Yeah, you're right.
From the.
So what you have to do is history, grab SSH, copy.
So did we copy everything you had in your DNS name servers into the NFS client thing you just made file?
Yes. So I'm gonna run this here. Make sure we have. There you go. I might just use the IP address here, guys. Okay.
Okay. Why is it not working with host ID?
I think the IPs has changed there. Let's take a look.
Okay.
The IP is 120 for the client 2 and for the client 1
It's It's 117 still.
117. So it is good. It is good. So what might happen is the local resolve.conf file is getting rewritten. VIETC resolve. So over here, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of this part here. Okay, I'm going to save and exit. Okay, info. Okay, see, it's working now. Okay, and then I'm gonna do 2. Okay, so let's ping it. It's working. So I'm gonna run this command here again.
Could you catch your NFS clients? I wanted to see what was in there.
There's a client 1 and 2.
Oh, just the client 1 and 2 IP?
Yep. No, I put in the address, the host name, because I want it to be running with the DNS. The way the DNS is working is perfectly working as if you would expect in enterprise, in any other enterprise. This is how exactly the DNS works.
Okay.
Okay, so looks like all those things are installed on the both boxes. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the service. Systemctl start nfs-server. Okay, it's changed, but it's not giving error. That means so far so good. Enable. Looks good. Before I forget, let me capture these lines.
So which part fixed the problem since we took it out?
SSH.
The authorized keys? Oh, using SSH copy ID?
Yep.
That put the key from the Ansible master back into the authorized
Yep.
keys in the client 1
True.
and 2?
That is true.
Okay.
Now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna make the directory mk, go in here and let's make a directory on the server mkdir. I'm gonna give it a name, network underscore folder. Okay, so the directory is made. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the permissions for the directory. chmod hyphen uppercase R, that means recursively 777. Now I'm going to mount the NFS server onto this. It is in here, but before that I need to go up here and make sure all this is working because the IP has changed. So I'm gonna see VI etc exports. VI etc, I don't need to do it, but I'm just doing it for my sake. Okay, nothing has to be changed here. And then I'm gonna go show mount -e. Okay, that is good. And let's look at the firewall. Firewall -cmd list ports. Okay, so the ports is there. And I'm going to rpc info -p grep nfs. So okay, all is working, so I'm good here. Okay, so now on the Ansible box, so I did okay, so all this is good. The next item I have to do is I have to mount now. Mount -t NFS. Then I have to give the NFS server the IP address 192.168.56.126. Okay, remember that. And a colon /shared and where I'm mapping this to network folder. Oh, I need to put this command into the Ansible. What am I thinking? In here.
So did you mount to both shared and network folder, or what was that?
So I'm mapping. So let's do DFFNH. You'll see it. Now you see, now you use, so far you've been used to it for local drives, right? Now this is network drive. It's taking the IP address. That means it's not local to the hard drive. This drive, 15 GB, is not on this server. It's on the NFS server. Did you get it?
Yes. The network folder is just how you get to access it from. your
No, I
local-
cannot hear you. Say that again.
The network folder is just the file, how you're going to access the drive through your
Yes.
computer. Okay.
So now more than one server could have access to that.
So when you were changing the permissions above that, that was just so everybody can go into save into that network folder?
Yep. We're gonna create 1,000 files in there and do on the network side and see if it's gonna show up there.
Okay.
So if I go into the NFS server, if you do df-h, this is the NFS server here, right? Over here is share. If I go to cd share, what happened here?
You forgot the D after share.
Okay. So now if I run this command, if I run a command to create like 1,000 files in there, right? Touch file but what I should do is I shouldn't do it from both servers here, because this command will try to run this same exact thing. What the heck, let's try this. Into the same folder here, so it might cause problem.
So it's going to make client 1 and client 2 also do this? Create,
Yes.
1,000 files? Okay. So with this command, the Ansible master is not creating 1,000. So there will be only a total of what, 2,000 files created?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But here's the thing here, both servers are going to be creating the same file with the same name here, so it might override it and keep it only 1,000 files in there.
Yeah.
Is this because it's on the network files to share?
Yeah. Because we are running the same command from two different places, so let's see what happens. Okay, it didn't give error here, so if I do ls-l, it didn't create anything. I think it created in the wrong place. The command was wrong. So if I want to create See, I myself is getting as a silly things here. The file. Yeah, that's a wrong command to do this. What did I tell you about the touch file here? I'm forgetting myself.
The-
Let's see if this works.
Or doesn't the name of the file have to be on the inside of that?
I know.
Okay.
You're thinking. So let's see if I could change the directory. Okay, and now if I do pwd,
Yeah, I think you might have created the files in the just the root directory
Yep.
of those.
see, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Might need to use a different command besides touch then.
Yeah. So what we could do is we could go to
What changed right now when you ran cd/network_folder?
because when each time Ansible is connecting, it's gonna do it, but once it disconnect, and when it connects again, it connects to the root folder.
Oh, so wait, maybe if you do the cd/network_ under folder, you just after that you continue, then you use touch file.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, do you have to use a semicolon for another command afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mrs. Zafar, I thought the name of the file has to be on the inside of that. What's that called? Not parenthesis, but
No.
No, it's he already changed it. See, he's changed the directory he's currently in for all those clients to cd/network, and
There you
then
go.
he used the touch file. Yeah.
Let's see if it had created. I'm thinking it kept only 1,000 files or 100 files. Did I give 1,000? I gave only 100, so it created 100. So both whatever happening, the reason it did is it overwrote the file.
Okay. Yeah. It had the same name.
Yeah.
Okay. Why is there 101?
The ls is it gives out when you do the ls here. It is also considered this part. This part is also considered a line.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, because you did work.
So you have a working NFS server here. And what you could do is, let me just clear everything out of there. CD RM-RF and an asterisk. See, I didn't even know how to run this command. I learned it right now. So if I do this here, um, I do 192.168.56.117. I'm doing it only on one server, and I'm gonna change it and create a touch file 1. Okay, could not match the supplied host pattern here, right? So if you want to just do it on one server, did I show you how I did on one server, single server? Okay, so
You wanted to do it with just one server, and you didn't want to use a file to.
yeah,
Well, would you have to use the IP, or could you still use the host name?
host name too. Both should work, not that the DNS is working.
Because will it automatically read it from the? I forgot which file it was.
ETCFS tab. Yeah,
Oh.
ETC Ansible hosts.
Yeah, there you go, that one. But in the host file, we didn't. Did we put their? I don't remember if we put their host names. I thought we just.
Yeah, it's in
we
there.
don't.
Maybe I could give you the IP address.
So how does it know based on the host name which IP is connected for? Is it based on?
It's hitting the
what
DNS. If the DNS goes down, it won't work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're right. It did went through the client hitting the etc host name file.
Okay.
So if you do ls here, you should have a file. There you go.
All right, nice.
Now what you need to do is you need to do fs tab entry when the system reboots so that it stays in there. So what you do is you do the similar thing here. You do mount right, so this part, let me copy this part here.
So you said you
NFS
want to add this to your FS tab as well here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Over here you do echo. In there, put in this.
Wait, why do you need it in the FS tab on Ansible Master? Didn't you already set it to the FS tabs of all the clients already?
No, not the clients. I haven't done that.
Oh, okay.
Let's do cat.
Because would you need it in the FS tab for Ansible Master?
No, we're not doing it into Ansible Master. We are doing it into the remote servers.
Oh, for
Client
the
1 and
clients.
client 2.
Okay.
Because that is sitting on the client 1 and client 2. So what you do is echo, and you put double quotes in here, and you put this information here. Okay, shared. Then you have to type NFS, then default
Did you need to do tab or just
0
keep it like-
space 0. I'm doing tab We'll see what
Okay.
happens. And then greater than etc fs tab. So it's gonna make the new entry in there. Oh, what happened? I have to do a single quote here, I think. Right? I think we got this error before too.
Yeah, we got this error before. Held exploding arguments.
So let's take a look here how we did this. You could write a playbook also, okay? At one point we did made an entry, right? So what was the entry like? I didn't copy the script part here, did we? Okay, yeah, script is there. Well, the script is running at its point. Ansible free. Okay, so it was double quotes. Echo, and it was double quotes, and then greater than sign. Right, so why is it not working now? Oh, I have to close the quote here.
Did we change it back to double quotes?
Yeah, it worked.
Oh, it worked with single quotes?
I hope so. Let's cat it and see what happens. Yeah, it worked with single quotes.
Okay.
Now let's unmount it and see mount -a if it's gonna work. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a highly bankable skills you have now. Okay, the more you practice, the better it gets, and don't give up on this. I know if you guys are here towards the end of the class, you guys are doing pretty good, I would say. Okay, so now I'm going to do mount -a. That means we are going to mount from FS tab. So the network file should mount also. There you go, the network file is there. Now we could comfortably restart, and then that file should map back in there without any problems.
So could you show an example of how you would use the same thing to do the same thing in the playbook for the FS tab?
I don't I don't want to do that. It's gonna, yeah. I mean the Ansible part I'm showing you is just the tip of an iceberg here. Okay, so I think I gave you good foundation here. So what you might want to do is you might want to just search up that information, how you would do it in playbook or script. Most of the time, you would be end up running. The playbooks will be you will use it something of a more complex, like LVM and all that, right? You won't
Yeah.
be running. You won't be running like if you're running like 4 or 5 or 6 or maybe 10 commands. You really don't need a playbook. If
Okay.
you're running like a lot of commands and it's going to be a little painful like LVM, then yeah, go ahead and search a playbook.
Okay. So basically, that script you showed right now earlier, where we did this for the whole entire script, you just basically copy a similar script like that into the playbook and then just run that playbook.
Yep. Search up. Okay. See, this is I don't remember anything on top of my head. I went online and got this from online and then change around what I need to do. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. The more you do it, the better it gets.
So would you say like a playbook is similar to just like a script?
Yeah. But a lot of spread like LVM is just we are telling the public already has a module LVM. We are not spelling out all the commands here like PV create, LV create, and all that. Why? Because all the heavy lifting is
It's already
being
done.
done by Ansible.
Okay. So because playbook has that, what we just use the YAML stuff, right?
Yeah, YAML, and then look up examples online and do it for yourself.
Okay. So the LVM playbook YAML has all that stuff built in already, so you don't have to do all that extra.
Yeah. The only thing, remember, I eyeballed it. I eyeballed it, and then change around this stuff here. So I copied it, and all I did was I changed this part here. So you have to be knowing what you're exactly doing here. You have to plan this out. And then volume group, it was something else. It was DB something. So I changed it to what I needed. Okay, so this command, the PV create is done in here. So whatever example you find online, you just have to look into it and see what you're doing there, what the script is doing it for you.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, search up and then a lot of stuff. The information I gave you about Ansible and scripting is like very robust foundation you have there. Based off that, you should be able to do other scripts and all that for yourself. Okay, so now let's see DFF and H after reboot, and we'll see the result here. There you go. It did map automatically, so it is working. Okay, so this is it for today. I'm going to stop here. Once the document is ready, I'll upload.
Okay.
Mrs. Zafar,
Yeah.
I never got the email for the document for my resume.
Okay, I'll check it. You sent it once, right? Didn't you?
Yeah, I sent it once, and then I was looking for like the reply or the send back from Linux.